What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses sits down for what should have been a routine interview, only to find herself under fire in front of a live studio audience? This is the jaw-dropping confrontation between Jennifer Lawrence and Joy Behar that lit up social media, left audiences stunned, and turned a daytime interview into headline news. Before we unpack everything that went down, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Was Joy out of line, or did Jennifer finally say what needed to be said? It all started on a Tuesday morning. Jennifer Lawrence stepped onto the View set, flashing that familiar smile, waving to the crowd as the applause swelled. She was there to promote her latest film, a gripping thriller already generating Oscar buzz, and the energy in the room was electric. The crowd adored her. So did most of the panel. But Joy Behar's smile didn't quite match the warmth of her co-hosts. From the moment Jennifer sat down, something was off. While Whoopi and the others welcomed her with genuine enthusiasm, Joy watched her with an icy kind of focus. Then came the first question, blunt and barbed. "So Jennifer," Joy said, voice edged with skepticism, "you're promoting another movie where you play a strong female character. Don't you think you're getting a little typecast at this point?" Jennifer blinked, caught slightly off guard, but only for a moment. Composed as ever, she replied, "Well, Joy, I think strong female characters are exactly what we need more of in Hollywood. I'm proud to be part of stories that show women as complex and layered, not just background to someone else's narrative." But Joy wasn't done. "Isn't it a little convenient, though?" she pressed, leaning in. "You keep landing roles that make you look like a feminist icon, when in reality, you're just another pretty face who lucked out with the Hunger Games." The audience went quiet. Whoopi shot Joy a sharp look. Even the crew seemed to freeze. But Joy plowed ahead. Jennifer's smile flickered. Then, firmly, "I think my body of work speaks for itself. I've been lucky to work with visionary directors, sure. But I've also put in the hours. Luck doesn't carry you through 14-hour shoot days or doing your own stunts." But Joy scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Come on, let's be real. You tripped at the Oscars, you've made some questionable political comments, and now you're here trying to convince us you're some kind of serious actress. Isn't it time to admit your peak might be behind you?" Gasps rippled through the audience. The studio went dead still. Jennifer's jaw tightened. The calm cracked, just slightly. She leaned forward. "I'm sorry, what are we doing here exactly?" she said, voice low but firm. "I came here to talk about a film I care deeply about, not to be attacked by someone with whatever this is." The Joy let out a sharp laugh. "This isn't personal, sweetheart. I'm just saying what a lot of people are thinking, but don't have the guts to say. You've coasted on this America's sweetheart image long enough. Some of us remember when you were just another actress from Kentucky hoping for a break." Jennifer's voice sharpened. "There's nothing wrong with being from Kentucky. And there's definitely nothing wrong with working hard to build a career. What is wrong is trying to tear another woman down on national television. Isn't that the opposite of what this show claims to stand for?" Sarah Haynes tried to redirect the conversation. Whoopi shifted in her seat, but Joy raised a hand, silencing them. Her eyes locked on Jennifer. "Don't make this about women supporting women. This is about accountability, about not skating by on charm and looks while pretending you're something deeper. Some of us just aren't buying it." That was it. Jennifer stood. The chair scraped against the floor, startling the production team. Her face was flushed, but her voice, when she spoke, was controlled and cutting. "You know what, Joy? I've been in this business long enough to recognize what jealousy looks like. I've worked with legends. I've earned my place. If you can't handle that, maybe you're the one who needs to ask why you're still here throwing stones." And with that, she walked off, leaving a stunned silence in her wake. Jennifer Lawrence's voice cut through the air, sharp and unwavering. I've worked with journalists around the world, and I have never, not once, encountered someone so blatantly unprofessional, so deliberately cruel, as what I'm experiencing right now. Joy Behar's face darkened, her tone dripping with venom jealousy. Of what exactly? Your talent for tripping over your own feet, or your world-class ability to insert your foot into your mouth during interviews. She leaned forward. Please, enlighten me. What exactly do I have to be jealous of? Jennifer didn't miss a beat. Her voice now filled the entire studio. How about the fact that people actually want to work with me? How about the fact that when I walk into a room, people don't look for the nearest exit? Or maybe it's the fact that I've built a career without tearing other people down just to feel better about myself. The audience audibly gasped. A ripple of stunned murmurs spread across the room. Joy's knuckles turned white as she gripped her note cards, then slammed them down with a loud thwack that echoed off the studio walls. "Excuse me," she snapped, standing taller. "You're going to lecture me on professionalism. I've been in this business longer than you've been alive, sweetheart." "Then act like it," Jennifer fired back instantly. "Because right now, you're coming off like a bitter talk show host who's forgotten that your job is to interview guests, not ambush them for sport." The co-hosts looked frozen. Whoopi Goldberg leaned in, trying to ease the tension. "Okay, ladies, maybe we..." "No," Joy snapped, cutting her off and pointing a finger. "I'm not backing down from this. Someone needs to say what everyone else is thinking. This girl walks around Hollywood like she's some untouchable genius, when really, she just got lucky." Jennifer laughed, cold and incredulous. "You think it was luck that got me through months of Hunger Games auditions? Luck that helped me turn Katniss Everdeen into a global icon? That earned me an Oscar at 22. That's what you think this is?" Joy raised her chin, her voice soaked in sarcasm. "I think you happen to fit into a costume and say lines someone else wrote. Let's not pretend you're Meryl Streep." Silence. Total silence. The audience was transfixed. Cameras zoomed in. Nobody dared breathe. Jennifer leaned forward, her voice low and cutting. "You want to talk about reading lines? Let's talk about your job. Sitting behind that desk, reading cue cards and jokes written by interns. Taking shots at people who are actually out there, creating something that matters. When's the last time you did anything that took real talent?" Joy shot up from her seat, her chair rolling backward with a loud scrape. "I've been entertaining and informing people for decades. I've interviewed presidents, icons, world leaders. Don't you dare question my contributions." Jennifer stood to meet her, voice rising. "If this is what you call entertaining people, then all I see is a desperate attempt to stay relevant by trying to humiliate someone who's actually done something meaningful." The studio was electric. Behind the cameras, producers and assistants scrambled, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let the train wreck play out. The co-host sat back, stunned, watching the carnage unfold. Joy leaned in again, voice trembling with fury. "Accomplishments. I've had a career longer than you've been breathing. And I didn't need a blockbuster to make my name. You think an Oscar makes you untouchable. You think that's real talent." Jennifer's voice dropped to a chilling calm. "And yet, with all that experience, you're using it to bully a guest on your own show. Is this how you want to be remembered, Joy?" As the host so threatened by a young woman that she had to try and publicly humiliate her. Joy narrowed her eyes, nearly hissing. "Threatened by you. What threatens me is mediocrity being packaged as greatness. Entitled little girls who think they deserve praise just for showing up in a few movies." Jennifer's composure finally cracked. "A few movies. I've been nominated for 4 Academy Awards. I've won 1. I've worked with directors like David O. Russell, Francis Lawrence, Adam McKay. My films have grossed over $6 billion worldwide. But yes, please. Tell me more about how I'm just some entitled little girl." Gasps rippled across the audience again. People in the front rows were visibly leaning forward, transfixed by the raw, unscripted emotion unfolding in front of them. Joy threw her hands in the air. There it is! That ego! Rattling off your resume like it's supposed to impress me, she sneered. Newsflash, honey. Box office numbers don't equal talent. Jennifer's voice dropped. Now I see and resolute. You're right. Which is why I'm not going to stand here and list every award, every glowing review, every time a director called me back. Because none of that matters if you don't have basic human decency. Something you clearly have no grasp of. Joy took a step closer, lowering her voice to a menacing whisper. But the microphone picked up every word. Human decency, she said, eyes burning. You're in Hollywood, sweetheart. That doesn't exist. Joy sneered, her voice low but venomous. You want to lecture me about human decency? You're the one spouting political opinions you have no business sharing. Poisoning young minds with your half-baked celebrity takes. Jennifer's eyebrows shot up. My political opinions, she echoed incredulous. You mean my constitutional right to express my views? The same right you exercise on this show every single day. Or are opinions only allowed when they come from someone behind a desk? I'm saying, Joy snapped, voice rising, when you have a platform, you have a responsibility, not to blurt out opinions on things you clearly don't understand, just because fame makes you think you're qualified. Jennifer let out a sharp, humorless laugh. That's rich, coming from someone who built her career on blurted opinions. At least when I speak, I'm not hiding behind a panel of co-hosts nodding along. The panel fell into stunned silence. Sarah Haynes stared at her hands. Whoopi was shaking her head slowly. The guest co-host looked like she wanted to melt into her chair. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled, whispering urgently into headsets. Joy's voice cracked as it rose to a shriek. You think you're so clever, don't you? That you can stroll in here and make me look like the villain. Let me tell you something. Little girl, I've dealt with spoiled Hollywood brats longer than you've been alive, and I am not letting some Oscar winner with an ego come on my show and walk all over me. Jennifer's voice trembled, not with fear but fury. Spoiled, she spat. I grew up in a working-class family in Kentucky. My parents busted their asses to support me and my brothers. I know what work is, and I've never once forgotten where I came from. You sitting up there in your ivory tower, calling people spoiled because they dared to succeed. That's what's actually disgusting. The audience was dead silent. You could hear the faint hum of the studio lights and air vents. Everyone was frozen, watching this confrontation unfold in real time, unfiltered, raw. Joy leaned across the table, pointing a trembling finger. Don't you dare try to play the humble small town girl card with me, she growled. I've seen that performance from 100 actresses who think relatable is a brand they can wear like makeup. Jennifer's eyes lit up with fury. You want to talk about fake? She said, voice razor sharp. Let's talk about this? You turning your show into a circus just to create viral drama. You're not interviewing me. You're trying to smear me for clicks. Joy's voice cracked as she screamed. My show doesn't need you. We've been on the air for over 20 years. We don't need some flash in the pan actress for validation. Jennifer stepped forward, her voice rising to meet Joy's fury. Flash in the pan. I've been working nonstop for over 15 years. Indies, blockbusters, comedies, dramas. I've built something real. But you're too blinded by bitterness to see it. The phones came out from under chairs, guests ignoring the no recording policy as the confrontation escalated. The energy in the room was electric. Two powerful women clashing, no commercial break in sight. Joy slammed her palm on the table. Her coffee mug rattled, almost tipping over. Bitterness. The only thing I resent is mediocrity being handed a trophy. Just because you can cry on cue and wear a gown doesn't make you a genius. Sweetheart. Jennifer's voice dropped to a whisper, deadly calm. Now I see it. This isn't about politics or professionalism. This is about you. You. Sitting behind that desk day after day, watching younger, hungrier, More talented people do what you never could." The line landed like a slap. Joy's face turned pale, then burned crimson. "How dare you?" she whispered, trembling with fury. "How dare you come into my house and try to psychoanalyze me like some armchair therapist?" Jennifer's voice didn't waver. "Your house," she said, stepping closer. "You invited me here. You asked me to come. But what you really wanted was a punching bag. Someone to make you feel powerful again." Joy's jaw clenched so tightly it looked painful. Her hands shook as she reached for her cue cards again, only to toss them aside with frustration. Jennifer looked down at her, calm but unflinching. "But here's the problem with choosing the wrong guest to humiliate on air," she said softly. "Sometimes they don't back down." Jennifer let out a bitter laugh. "This isn't your house, Joy. This is a television studio where you happen to work. And if this is how you treat people in your workplace, I can only imagine how you treat them in your personal life." Joy shot to her feet so violently her chair slammed into the wall behind her. "That's it!" she shouted. "I don't have to sit here and let some disrespectful brat tear me down on my own show." Jennifer didn't flinch. Her voice rose, fierce and unyielding. "Disrespectful. You started this whole mess by calling me a pretty face who got lucky. You've spent the last 20 minutes trying to humiliate me on national TV, and now that I'm pushing back, I'm the problem." Finally, Whoopi stood, stepping between them with visible concern. "Ladies, please. We need to calm down. This has gone too far." But Joy wasn't listening. Her finger jabbed toward Jennifer, never breaking eye contact. "Don't you dare try to protect her, Whoopi. She walked onto this set with an attitude, and now you're all seeing exactly who she really is." Jennifer let out a disbelieving laugh, half heartbreak, half fury. "My true colors?" she repeated. "My true colors are about respect, until someone shows they don't deserve it. Yours? Yours are bitterness and insecurity dressed up as journalism. You tear down anyone who makes you feel irrelevant." The audience was frozen in shock. A few guests had hands over their mouths. Some had tears in their eyes. Behind the scenes, the camera operators captured every second like a historic event. Joy's voice cracked, rising in pitch. More successful. "You think a couple of movies make you more important than someone who's been on television for decades. Your red carpet moments don't mean anything out there in the real world." Jennifer's voice, in contrast, was calm and measured. "Success isn't about screen time or designer gowns. It's about how you treat people when the cameras are rolling, and when they're not. And by that measure, Joy, you are failing." Joy's composure shattered. "I'm failing. You're about to be remembered as a spoiled little princess who couldn't handle a real interview." Jennifer took a step back from the panel, smoothed the fabric of her dress, and stood tall. "You're absolutely right about one thing. I am about to walk out, because I respect myself too much to keep playing along with this circus." Joy blinked, caught off guard. "You can't just leave," she snapped, the panic creeping into her voice. "You're contracted for the full segment." Jennifer offered a cold, professional smile. "Watch me." She turned toward the wings. "I came here to promote my film, to have a civil, respectful conversation with your viewers. Instead, I walked into a personal ambush. That's not what I signed up for." Sarah Haynes stood, trying to salvage the moment. "Jennifer, please, don't go. We can start over. Talk about your movie. Have the conversation we were supposed to have." Jennifer looked at her, softening for a moment. "I appreciate that, Sarah. Truly. But I can't sit here and pretend this was okay. I have too much respect for myself and for the people watching to stay in a toxic environment just because the cameras are on." Joy's desperation was visible now. She could feel the moment spiraling out of control, the regret starting to set in. "You're making a huge mistake," she said, her voice cracking. "You'll regret this." Jennifer turned back, standing at the edge of the stage. Her voice was low but crystal clear. "The only thing I regret is wasting 30 minutes trying to have a real conversation with someone who clearly isn't capable of one. The room was silent. Several audience members were crying. Others sat stunned, completely unsure what to do. Joy made one final attempt to control the narrative. "You think you can just storm off and make me look like the bad guy? Everyone's going to see this for what it is. A spoiled actress throwing a tantrum because she didn't get her usual softball questions." Jennifer paused, then turned slowly, her expression unreadable, calm, focused, unshaken. "You're right, Joy. Everyone is going to see this for what it is. They'll see a veteran host so threatened by someone younger and successful. She tried to destroy her on live TV. They'll see a bully who forgot that her job is to inform and entertain, not to humiliate and belittle." She took a breath, and most importantly, they'll see that sometimes, finally, someone stands up and says, "Enough. You don't get to treat people like garbage just because you have a platform." The Joy sat down hard, the fire completely gone from her voice. This isn't over," she whispered. Jennifer's voice rang out across the stunned studio. "You're absolutely right. It's not over. Because now everyone knows exactly who you are, Joy Behar. And they know who I am too. Someone who refuses to be bullied. Someone who knows her worth. And someone who knows when it's time to walk away." With that, Jennifer Lawrence turned and walked off the stage, the echo of her heels cutting through the stunned silence. The cameras followed her exit, capturing every step as she disappeared through the backstage doors. Joy sat frozen. The other hosts were speechless. The audience was still, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what they had just witnessed. And that was the day daytime television stopped being business as usual. Let us know what you think. Did Jennifer do the right thing walking off? Was Joy just doing her job, or did she go way too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable showdowns like this.